Your reasons for listening to this show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen.
Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Make sure you go to my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle.net. When you go to Tuddle.net, you're going to find one-stop shopping of how you can get a hold of me, how you can find me on social media, anywhere online. One-stop shopping, like I said, Tuddle.net. I'd like to get interaction and engagement from you guys. You can email me, Tuddle@gmail.com, or leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044.
Hey, Tuddle, I was just listening to podcast 327, the classic, where you have the shit and piss running through the PVC pipe, and you can hear all the juicy details.
Oh, man, I'm so glad that this guy called and reminded me, because I actually do need to do that. Because you got to remember, since my dad's not here, there's not as much waste going into the black water tank and the fifth wheel that we have here. So I haven't emptied that out in a while. Here, let me go out and see how this sounds today, because it should be pretty filled up. And right now, if you don't know what he's talking about, I live in a fifth wheel, and every so often you don't want to leave your tank open all the way, because if you leave your tank open all the way, all the excrement and stuff will harden on the side of the walls, and then you'll have very big problems. You want it to fill up, and you want gravity to do its work. So you got to come over here, pull this handle. So, all right, I hear it. Yep. Here, let me get over here to this side, see if you guys can hear the stuff coming through. Yeah, it is pretty filled up. And this isn't even the chunky stuff yet. Whew, man, bad smell. See, now that's all just the water and stuff. Here. Yeah, I know this is some groundbreaking, groundbreaking broadcasting. Yeah, this thing was pretty filled up, but we still haven't even gotten to the chunky stuff yet. I'm just waiting for one day for this thing to overflow and it just shoot shit all over me. Oh yeah, we do have a problem. I'm emptying it out, and it is coming up out of the ground now. Oh, my God. This is bad. Okay. Gotta go. Oh, man. Woo. All right. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. Be back. Just give me a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry. I actually had to figure what the hell was going on. It's kind of funny that I made that joke that one day that this is going to, spit out something on me. Last week, me and the guy that, is the maintenance guy, we pulled a whole bunch of weeds. The thickest weeds that you could ever think of. Like, they were so thick, the weed eater would not even eat through them. Like, it just absolutely destroyed the line in the weed eater. And it was the only place where the grass, the weeds, everything was growing so thick. And now I finally know why. Because the goddamn dump station right behind our house must be filled up to the brim, because you would not believe the amount of shit water that was coming up out of the ground. Like, I swear to God, I felt like Jed Clampett in the Beverly Hillbillies when I was out hunting for some food, and then came up a bubbling crude, but instead of the bubbling crude that makes you money, the bubbling crude that will make you sick, like sewage. And now that all those plants aren't there, I can actually see the water coming up. And that's why those plants were growing so thick, because they were all getting fertilized by shit water that was coming out of the trailer. Now, see, the thing is that I'm actually getting along pretty well with the guy that owns the park now. And I know for a fact, once I go and complain, or once I go and bitch or say something about this, he is going to be absolutely livid. He's going to be livid. Like, and he's going to blame it on us. Oh, you see, it's never his fault. And that's why I'm worried about even going and saying anything, but I'm also worried. That's why I don't drink the water around this place. Because all the sewage systems in this whole park, they are all failing. They are absolutely all failing. There's one down on the other end that people were having shit actually back up into their camper because the lift station was so filled up. So, man, I really did not mean to, like, segue off of this guy's voicemail. Matter of fact, I still got to get back into his voicemail.
God damn, nobody's ever done that. I can remember in a podcast in their life. That's radio gold right there.
Wait till you hear today's show, man. I didn't even get to the chunky stuff. I was able to get everything out. I don't want anybody to think that actual poop was coming up out of the ground. No, it was just the water. I know exactly what is happening is that he has not had it pumped out. And the thing is, guys, the last time he had it pumped out, he did it himself. He got one of those pool pumps that you get to drain your pool with, and he stuck it down in there, and that's how he ended up getting rid of all the shit. He actually dumped it out into the woods right less than 60 feet from my parents' house, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. And that's going to be a solution if he does it again. And that's the thing about it is, like, my mom right now does not need to move because she likes it here. It's comfortable for her here. She just lost her husband. I lost my dad. She's comfortable here because a lot of the snowbirds, a lot of the people from up north are going to be coming down really, really soon, and she's going to have her friends again. But thank you, sir. Yes, I agree. Never been done before.
But anyway, I was wondering, throw some show ideas at you. If you could try to ever reach out to Manson/Ned/Manson/Ned, and see if you can get a hold of both of them or either one of them or, the same guy. Oops. And see if you can get him on for a podcast. I think it'd be really cool, because after all, he had Spice Boy on there as much as he hates him to do a podcast. Maybe you can offer to do his podcast and he can be on yours, I was just wondering.
Listen, Manson has invited me to be on his show, and I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I would love to do it, but you also got to remember I was going through this type of awakening where I was trying to repair every single bridge that I burned. I did not want to be a part of that whole group, and I'm not saying Manson or anybody. I just didn't want it to turn into, hey, fuck Bubba the Love Sponge. No. Manson has invited me quite a few times, but now, you know what? I probably would go on Manson's show now, but I doubt he even wants me. Like, seriously, I do look up to Manson. Manson is one of the most talented radio guys that I've ever worked with, like doing the voices and the parody songs. Manson is absolutely amazing at what he does. And what he's been able to build with Clusterfuck, going away from Bubba's show, yeah, I'm so happy for Manson, his whole entire family, Trace, Berlin, everybody a part of the family, Ned, Aaron, everybody comes onto the show. I absolutely love that whole entire family, and they have been nothing but kind to me. But I think I kind of blew my shot or blew my load on trying to get on there because he has asked numerous times, and I have not been able to make it just because, like, I was just trying to be cool with everybody. And in return, I wasn't cool to Manson. So, like an idiot, I screw up every single thing that I touch. Wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on the gypsy-ass white trash bitches known as Dakota and Nicole. They tried to get me again yesterday. Even after everything that they've already done to me, they tried to swindle me once again. And they didn't even have the balls to call me theirself. Before I had found out that they had ripped me off over the hotel thing, they had one of their friends from North Carolina. Her name is, I think, Lily. Yeah, she was a very, very unusual character, but seemed nice. Came all the way down to pick them up and bring them up to North Carolina so Nicole could see her grandbaby. If I'm just being honest, the best thing that her daughter could do is to keep that child away from Nicole. Yes, keep it away from Nicole because it is going to learn nothing but bad-ass habits. But back to what I was saying. So I know that they're back in town now because this Lily chick called and gave me this whole spiel about how Dakota and Nicole had been, like, stealing from her. Yeah, big shock. I believe that. I don't think that that's a false accusation. But she wanted to know, like, if I could cash app her some money. And I was like, boop, yeah, no, look, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're going through some problems right now. But I am not sending you any money in any way because Dakota and Nicole could just be on the other line. I'm not giving anybody shit. I really don't give a damn. Like, look, they got me. I'm not asking anybody to, like, help me out. I'm not going out with my hand out. Well, I do kind of tell you my PayPal and stuff like that. But, at least I'm trying to offer you guys some sort of entertainment while kind of panhandling. At least I'm trying to work for it. So now that I knew that they were in town, I double locked the shed, and also I took our golf cart. Now, the thing about the golf cart that my dad ended up getting before he passed away, it's a Florida Gators golf cart. And the thing about it is if the key is not in it or the battery has died, there is no pushing this golf cart. Like, this golf cart is the heaviest golf cart of all time. So what I did was I backed the golf cart up right against the door to the shed, and then I took the key out because I just knew that these two white trash gypsy ass bitches were going to end up showing up at my house, and I wanted to make it as difficult as possible because I wanted to be able to make noise, because I wanted to be able to hear somebody out there wrestling around trying to get into this shed just so I could call the cops and then come out and defend my property until the cops got there. Because that's exactly what I was going to do. But can you guys actually believe that? Like, they actually had, and you know what? I really don't even feel bad if the woman was telling me the God honest truth, because they are two of the dumbest, lyingest. Actually, you know what? I take that back. They're not dumb. They're not dumb because they know exactly what they were doing. If they took all the time and effort and all the scheming and stuff that they do and put it towards a skill, they wouldn't be living off the streets. They wouldn't have to be scamming and stealing and robbing from people. They just wouldn't have to do it. And that is what shocks me the most out of people that don't want to work, people that don't want to do put in the time and the effort to be able to make some money towards a trade. Like, seriously, don't give me any of this excuse. Don't give me excuse of, oh, I have addiction problems or I've got mental issues. Check. When it comes to everything, that you're basically explaining my life before I got sober at the end of 2019. So don't give me any of these excuses of, oh, I can't because I got all these issues. No, if I can do it, you can do it. But if you want your stuff back, you're going to have to personally meet me in person. And Nicole's going to have to go to jail. Nicole is going to have to go to jail because she has a warrant. And then I will be more than happy to get your stuff back to you. The stuff that I have not already picked over and figured out what I did or did not want. So, anyways, Dakota, Nicole, if you guys are listening to this, give me a call. I still got the same phone number. Going to take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Great news, folks. You now have the chance to see the face in front of that sexy voice. Right you are, sir. The Tuddle Daily Podcast streams Monday to Friday on YouTube. Anything can happen at the Hobo Fish Camp. Okay, sir. That's enough. Okay, so go to youtube.com/Tuddle. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified anytime Tuddle goes live. Good job, sir.
If you're in the market to buy or sell a home in Volusia, Brevard, or Flagler counties, you need to reach out to Ian Hanna at ianhannahomes.com. On his site, you can learn more about Ian's use of premium photography and aggressive marketing to sell your home quickly and painlessly. So if you're a first-time buyer and not sure where to start, connect with Ian at ianhannahomes.com.
Questions? Comments? Concerns? Compliments? Or do you just want to tell Tuddle to fuck off? In any event, contact Tuddle. Tuddle@gmail.com. It's Tuddle with 2 Ds, dumbass.
I don't know if this would be bad for him though. Like,
yeah, if it was anybody but Vulture, I'd say bring him on. But I don't want to fuck with his shit.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hey, who is this? I apologize. Are you there, ma'am? Hello? I'm just waiting for the audio to connect. Hey, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Where are you at right now?
Oh, I'm with
It
my
looks
friend.
like you're at a casino right now. Hello?
I think you scared her off.
Did she hung up?
You hit a jackpot, buddy, and she fucking split.
All right, welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Oh my God, I don't know if I should. I probably got myself in trouble by doing that, but
You didn't say anything wrong. You were just going to
no,
tell
I
we were
was
trying
just
to
like,
record
hello,
something.
hello. So Charlie Alaimo, buddy, tell people how they can check your YouTube channel and your Twitter out before we get into everything.
Yeah, just go check out at Real Lame Charlie on Twitter. There's links to everything there.
And that's on Twitter at Real Lame Charlie, right?
Yep. Super
All
easy.
right. So the reason I wanted to have you on today, because I talked a little bit about it on yesterday's show, but like I would be lying if I said that I was shocked by hearing the passing of Fez Whatley. I mean, we kind of knew, the health has not been the greatest in the past couple of years.
No, and anybody that's listened to any of the Ron and Fez show knew about that. So yeah, it was not something. It's still shocking because it's somebody that you, especially for me. I mean, I remember listening to Ron and Fez. I didn't get into them until later on, until about 2010. But I was homeless in Alaska, living up there for the summer. That show changed my life, man. I looked forward to listening to them every afternoon.
Yeah. Are you in your studio right now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you jack yourself up a little bit? I don't know. You seem kind of low on my end. I don't know if it's my headphones or whatever.
Oh, there we go. How's that?
Oh, much better. Man, I can hear the crisp, clean pipes of Charlie Alaimo.
Oh no, that might not be good.
Yeah, I know. So, but no. The health hasn't been there, and last year he was like on death's door. He was on a ventilator at one point, correct?
Yeah, I saw the pictures that they had there up on the Bennington Twitter.
So, but then this just like, I mean, I guess like it just, his heart gave up.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I found out that my uncle passed away. It was kind of like a shot right to the gut, like, oh man, because well, in my uncle's case, it was completely unexpected. Same thing with Fez, though. I mean, even though with the health issues, I
We
thought,
thought he was on the mend, man. He went to the Super Bowl. He got to see the Bucks win the Super Bowl in person.
that's
And I don't
amazing.
know, like I hate to be this poetic type guy and try to like give you like Jerry's final thought, but in all reality, the guy's heart, I mean, he had a big heart. And I'm not talking like physically, like he really cared about people.
Yeah, a lot, and obviously it took a toll on his heart. He had more than a few stents in it. Go back and listen to any of those shows from the Ron and Fez show, which are also great. I mean, that's what I've been doing a lot. It's you called me the other day when he actually passed, and it was crazy because I was actually listening to Ron and Fez the night before at work. And that's the second time that this is something like that has happened where I'm listening or viewing something. The first time was with Larry Sanders' show. I just finished watching all of that, and then Gary Shandling died like the next day. Then of course, I'm listening to Ron and Fez show, and then the next day I find out that Fez is dead. And it's just like, man, what the hell? I got to quit watching these and listening to this stuff. I'm killing people.
Well, I mean, like I'm not going to put Fez passing away on the same level as my dad, but, like Fez, though, like taught me a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well as on the air. Like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that Fez was not great on the air. No, you know what? Fez in his prime, when he wasn't dealing with all the health issues, Fez on top of his game type Fez, nobody was better than him.
No, go back and listen to those WNEW shows in the ronandfez.net days. Those shows were crazy, and Fez was so quick. They were amazing shows, and they were so ahead of their time using the internet like they did.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you would not think this about Fez, but he would work stiff. Like he would work stiff.
Fez was great. Actually, one of the episodes or one of the clips I was listening to the other day was when after the Ron and Ron show dissolved, and it was Ron and Fez on the Monsters when they were in the middays, I believe.
Yeah.
And they had them on to come on and just kind of talk to everybody because they hadn't been on in the market in a while. And just that episode alone was great. I think that's the one with the ashes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Paulo snorts Aunt Jean's ashes, which a listener like brought in an urn with his aunt's ashes in it for a year pass to Universal Studios.
That's insane. Let me give you from my perspective, I'd be like, well, you know what? Those to get somebody burned up is not cheap. And a year pass to Universal is not cheap either, but I think burning somebody up costs a little bit more than a year pass.
Yeah, I know, but like Paulo did that, but you also know that like Russ and Bo, before it was the Monsters, when it was Russ, Bo, and Dirty Jim, they used to open up the show, every show, because on that reunion show that Fez did, he did a Nature Boy where it was like an introduction for the Monsters in the morning. It was like Russ Rollins, Triple R.
In the Nature Boy.
Yeah, it was like he went down the whole like cast of characters of everybody. And they used that everything because it was brilliant, because Fez, when he was into the Nature Boy character, holy crap, just get out of his way.
Yeah, talk about cutting a promo.
Yeah, dude, he
really
was
cut one.
And I talked about this, like the worst that I've ever felt, the worst talking down to that I ever gotten from a radio person that I was learning from was from Fez.
Oh, at the live event?
Yeah, where like I guess I wasn't helping out enough, which I wasn't, because I was just trying to get laid. And Fez was just like, if you're serious about radio, Tuddle, at the end, he was like, you better make sure you show up to the station early to Well, it wasn't even tomorrow. Later this morning.
That's nuts. Yeah. So you had to go. So you did an evening gig and then had to turn around and go right back in and
Do work. Yeah. And it was, man, like Fez, like he was like, and once again, I don't want anybody to think like everything that I'm saying about Fez right now, I deserved, and it helped me become a better broadcaster. But what I'm trying to say though is that Fez, he was like a pit bull. Like he did not forget a goddamn thing. He just wouldn't.
no, and he was vicious. I mean, he had one little perceived slight by Fez, and you would set him off, and he would definitely not forget that.
Yeah, but I will say, like, some of the good times, you know how Ron and Fez were big Star Wars fans. When the Phantom Menace came out, they remember now, like, if you wanted to see a preview, like there's no such thing as midnight showings anymore. You know, like if you wanted to, if a movie opened on a Friday, you could like see it Thursday at midnight. Okay.
Yeah, I think Unruly Utes had something to do with the no more midnight shows.
Yeah. Because I used to fucking get hammered before I would go into a midnight showing.
Oh, people would get so messed up. I remember going to a midnight showing of Jackass, the first one, and I think that was towards the tail end of when they stopped doing midnight showings. I think.
Yeah.
And people were openly smoking weed like it was a fucking festival. It was crazy.
Yeah. So like we would go to, we went to a midnight showing of the Phantom Menace, and like, Fez and Ron and Fez, they wanted great seats. And it was, I think it was me, Ron, Fez, Gail. Now, I don't know if this is a part of the Mandela effect. Ron has a son, doesn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I could have sworn that it was Ron and his two kids and Fez, and we went and saw the Phantom Menace. And that was also another night where after the end of the movie, I was like, fuck, it's not worth driving back to the land from Daytona just to get an hour's worth of sleep and then come all the way back. I just stayed up all night that night too.
Hey, that's crazy.
And that was one of the stories where I didn't have a key. So I climbed up the radio tower, the tower that went from the station to the main transmitter. And then because this is before they all did everything over cable to the transmitter. Mm-hmm. So they actually had to have a little tower to broadcast to the transmitter to send that out to everybody. So that was one of those nights. But no, I mean, Fez was just one of those guys, man. Like if you were on his good side, like he would have your back no matter what.
He definitely provided so many years worth of great content. Even the tail end of the
Didn't you say that they had an Unmasked or whatever, and he sat back there and talked to you or whatever?
Yeah, I actually talked to him. I went to 3 Unmasks, actually. The first one I went to was at Sirius, obviously, and it was Tim Conway, and that was great. I actually talked to Fez for about 10 minutes before the show, and that's the one where Tim Conway ran me right up against the wall there into the fishbowl, and turned around and started laughing. I was like, that son of a bitch knows what he's doing. So, yeah, I talked to him then. Then I went to the Hank Azaria one a few months later, and that one I actually got to stay and hang out. I was talking to Fez a little bit, and I told Ron that I was getting into radio and stuff like that. And he's like, Jude, you want to stay and hang out for the last 30 minutes of the show? So I got to hang out in the booth for the last 30 minutes of the show. It was super cool.
Yeah, Ron always would, like, if somebody was interested in getting into radio, like he would always let them stick around. Like, I mean, they did that for me, and that's what gave me the bug for it.
Not only that, he stood there for a good 15 minutes and just had a long conversation with me, and that alone was great. Fez was there. He was chiming in with a few little things every once in a while. So I actually got to stand there for 15 minutes and talk to both Ron and Fez, and it was incredible.
Yeah, I never ever have met Ron Diaz, and I really I'm not saying this in a bad way. I really don't have any interest.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't he just retire?
Yeah, he did. He did just retire.
I mean, that guy's yoked still.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knows he was on the growth. If you know what I'm saying.
I mean, you'd have to be. That guy was huge. He still is.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Don Johnson fight that Don Johnson said he was going to come down and slap or smack people around. Well, for one, Ronnie B would never back down from anybody, but we're like Ron Diaz would be the last one that you'd want to fucking like try to smack, in my opinion.
I don't think you would want to mess with Bennington back in the day either, especially on the gimmicks. I think he could.
Oh yeah, when he was
yeah.
You know,
he was having a good time. When it smells like back in the days when it smelled like a hit in the radio studio.
Yeah, but like, Bennington would remind me of like a Pesci. Like he would just grab a fucking pencil or something.
He definitely has that vibe, especially the times that I met him was during the fall. So he's wearing the long trench coat type thing. And he just had the whole look. I was like, Jesus Christ, he does kind of look like he's in the mob or something.
But, what my favorite clip to show you the anger of Ron Bennington, though, was, and maybe you can refresh my memory, but somebody was talking shit to Fez.
Yeah,
and Ron just said he was like, I will fucking end you. And when you finally wake up in the hospital or something, he was like, I'm so fucking crazy. I will put you back in there as soon as you come wheeling out or something like that.
Yeah, it was Mark Zito who ended up being like a narc for the upper management or whatever. That's what they ended up starting to call him. And Fez was being stiff with him. But then again, you can't be an intern and be as ballsy as that kid was. I mean, that he was disrespecting Fez. So finally Fez had enough and snapped at him and said that he was going to kick his ass. And then the kid said, well, that's not going to happen. And then Bennington turns to him. He's like, what'd you say, strong boy? What do you think you're going to do? He's like, you look down. You don't look at me. You look down. He's
and the guy didn't say anything else. He didn't say anything else.
The only part about that fight that I hate is that dumb Fred from Brooklyn. Yeah, this is Fez's show. Like, shut up, you fucking gruff piece of shit. You should have been lucky that you were even in there. Just let the two hosts handle the show. You're not anybody. That was a 50-year-old guy. What was he going to do?
But Ron knew that's how good Ron is.
Another great one is they used to have this guy Jerry Barca on the show that did like sports handicapping and betting and stuff like that, and he wrote in a book or something. And Paul O was up, and him and Fez were doing a bit. They were making out on the couch there, and Jerry Barca came in, and he was like super creeped out about it. So then Fez is like, so what are you, homophobic then? Then the next day, this dude's friend calls in to defend him, and Ron just shut him down. It was fantastic. He made the guy look like such a moron.
Man, the one guy that you do not want to get a war of words into with would be Bennington. Like, I'm just being dead honest.
No, either it's both
and
back in the day. Fez in the day
cut you up too.
Vicious. He was vicious with some people, but deservedly so.
Well, Fez would go to the thing that he knew, because Fez was always good about just observing and looking at people's weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
Like he knew how to cut really, really deep.
He'd do an ocular pat down, and he knew exactly what he's going for after if you cause any little riff.
Yeah, man.
Which you know what? But I understand that because I do the same thing, honestly. When I meet somebody, I'm like, all right, I'll give them a chance and see if they're cool. And if I start to realize that they're not cool, I'm like, all right, now I'm really going to start taking a harder look at this person. So if they want to say anything, if they step out of line, I'm going to jump on it.
One of my favorite Fez moments, and I wasn't a part of the show, but the day that I think Fez lost a bet, and he said he said he was going to bring everybody a steak dinner, but he went to Steak and Shake.
Yes. I actually listened. I just listened to that the other day, and they were supposed to place bets too on horses. And oh my God, he got so pissed and he didn't understand. He's like, what do you mean? It is steak. He's like, this is not steak. They argued the entire time. Pepper Hicks was insane. He trying to explain that was not a steak. And the poor veteran that they were, I can't remember the intern's name, but he was a veteran. And he's like, this is how you honor a veteran with Steak and Shake? Oh, so great.
Look, I don't want anybody to think that Fez was not real, but dude, he sold that bit, that gimmick until the very, I mean, they ended the show. He was still saying, it's steak. It's steak.
He was so adamant. He had dug his heart. It's so great. You know what I was thinking about too? You know who got off the hook? Earl. Fez loaned Earl $2,000 back in the day, and he never paid him back.
Well, I mean, Earl then should pay for like cremation or whatever. Then,
he should
like,
do something.
Just being honest.
Yes, I think so, and I like Earl, but
that was a funny ass bit. And then one of the other funniest bits, and I don't know, was Fez on the show? I'm not sure. He might have been sitting out, but the day that Hicks said he could taste the difference in between like M&Ms, and he put on the blindfold and somebody threw a bottle at him.
Yeah, that was great too.
That was one of the biggest fights that I ever.
So many great moments. A lot of great moments with Fez and Eastside Dave. I mean,
oh, dude, Eastside Dave was over the top as well too, which is why he's so good.
He was very over the top. Sometimes I go back and listen to it and I'm just like, this is insane. What the hell is this guy saying? And then you hear Bennington and he's saying the same thing. He's like, you are insane. I don't even know what you're talking about now.
Oh, man. Like, I know the couple of times that I had come on to Ron and Fez when they were up in New York, and this is when they were on Sirius. Man, Eastside Dave was like, I mean, he was intense, man. Like, I thought that I was like over the top, weird and intense, but like Eastside Dave was just like took it to a whole nother level, though.
So did you go up there when they were on
Sirius XM? Yeah.
Or just Sirius? Were you there?
No, it was on Sirius, but then I also went up there when it was WNEW, and that was when they had Joe Poo, and then they had Al Duke.
That whole station at the time. There's another. I don't know how nobody has made a documentary about that with Opie and
WNEW. I mean, you had Scotty Farrell was there. You had. You had Opie and Anthony, and then Ron and Fez, and then I think Mike and Mike was on as well too, right?
No, I don't think they
were.
Or
was that only in JFK?
I think that was JFK.
Okay.
Don and Mike were on in JFK.
Yeah, Mike and Mike, Don and Mike. I'm sorry. Yeah, Don and Mike.
I thought you were first. I was like Mike and Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, Don and Mike. Sorry, Don and Mike. I apologize.
Yeah, which I think one of them is still. I think Mike O'Mara is still doing it.
Was it Don Geronimo or?
Yes. But his name was Mike too. He changed it to Don Geronimo.
Yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say that was a pretty strong lineup though. Like, I mean.
Oh yeah. There was at a time radio was so great, and now look at it, and it's crazy, you know, and it ties into the whole Ron and Fez thing. When that show ended, it was like the end of an era. Because Opie and Anthony were done by then. Ron and Fez went on to do another year or so. I think they've wrapped.
Well, no, on WNEW, then they went to JFK, and then they.
No, I'm talking about in general, as in talk radio in general. When Opie and Anthony ended, there wasn't really. I just listened to Ron and Fez then because I never got the chemistry with Jimmy and Opie. But and then when Ron and Fez ended, it was like, wow, there's no real good talk shows anymore.
What do you think about Sam and Jim?
I don't listen to it.
Yeah,
the only show that I listen to on Sirius every once in a while is The Bonfire with Big J Okerson and Dan Soder. That show's pretty good.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, what about podcasts? Do you listen to Two Bears, One Cave or whatever, or no?
No, I don't like Bert Kreischer.
You don't?
No, I don't really find him to be that funny. He seems like a super nice guy. I
No,
mean, I
he
probably
is
like him
really,
if I
really
met him.
nice, but he leans on like that hardcore material. Like,
Yeah, like dad humor, kind of.
yes.
Especially now. His not that, people's comedy shouldn't change, but go back and watch his first special, and then watch his specials out now. I did watch
Well,
that show that he had on Netflix where he was like up in the woods or whatever, and he brought Joey Diaz up there and Tom Segura, and they're smoking this big blunt. That was cool.
yeah, I did see that. Do you know that they're doing a movie based on that story of the machine story? They're doing a whole movie, right?
They should have done that years ago. Who cares about that story now?
Yeah, I know. Like, dude, I remember when like we were one of the first radio shows where this is before Bert Kreischer was even famous.
You're like, this is when he would still wear a shirt.
Yeah. So like we had the improv, and then like we would have to take the bad comedians that they would have some weeks just to be able to get the good comedians when they did come to town. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So Bert Kreischer, like Russ had only planned on having him on for like a minute. And then he came in and he slayed it, but he told that story about the machine thing on the stuff, and I got to give him credit for it. I'm sure he already planned on when he came into the studio that day that he was going to bring up that story.
Oh,
but he made it flawlessly. Like, I don't know how he shoehorned it off the top of my head, but it was like it just came up like naturally.
And even still, I mean, if you just said, "Hey, I robbed a train once in Russia," I mean, people are going to go, "What?" Or they're going to go, "I don't care." See, it depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'd be like, "I don't give a shit." And then other times I'd be like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, really? Oh, robbed a Russian train?
Is that what happened? You're drinking Stolies when you did it too?
And then another one. Do you remember those Dodge commercials? That Hemi guy. Hey, what you got in there? Is that a Hemi? Remember the Dodge? It was a comedian. It was a redneck comedian. What the fuck was his name? I forget off the top of my head. But
John Reap.
That was another. What's that?
I think it was John Reap, right?
John Reap. John Reap. Yep, John Reap. He came in, and that was another one that was just supposed to be a segment, and he sat in for the whole 4 hours of the show.
See,
because
that's a guy, again, I don't necessarily find his stand-up funny, but I find him funny. I've listened to a couple of his shows. He's a funny dude.
Well, but see, the comedians, when they come in and they just become like a personality on the show, just another person. Yes. That's where those comedians like absolutely kill it. Like, alcoholic older guy, John. Lewis. What's the guy? Lewis, not Lewis Black, but
Richard Lewis.
What's that?
Richard Lewis?
Yes, Richard Lewis came in and he stayed on for 3 hours with us, just killing it.
Yeah, he's another guy. I mean, his appearances on Stern were amazing. That guy could just go on there. Even he was on back when Artie was co-hosting with Anthony and doing the Artie and Anthony show. They did like a 3-hour show with Richard Lewis, and it was fantastic. That's a guy whose stand-up you would go, I don't really want to see that, but he's funny in general.
Yeah, just to come on and
this is, and if you guys were interviewing back then, this is way before Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the other great first people that we had just come in, be a part of the show, and he's not even a comedian, was Eddie fucking Money. Eddie Money.
Really?
Yes.
Paradise himself, huh?
Yes. 2 tickets to paradise. Dude, he came in and fucking killed it.
That guy seemed so awesome.
Like,
I mean, and he had tons of hits too.
It was funny. We would always, we had a green room where we would feed, and like we would only have like you know, when I was on with Russ and the Monsters, they would have parody songs. So like when lunch came in, they would take a break, play a couple of songs to give a couple extra minutes. Okay.
Mhm.
And there was a song with Savannah, the sexiest Savannah and Bubba, and it was like, "We are trailer trash. That is what we are."
Oh, to Islands in the Sea?
Yeah. To Islands in the Stream. And Eddie Money, I was about to say Eddie Murphy, but Eddie Money was eating, and he looked up and he's looking at the screen. He was like, "What is this? This is horrible." It was just like the funniest shit because, I mean, come on. I mean, Eddie Money wasn't the greatest artist in the world, but for a recording artist that, like, right in mid-eating from food we got from a sponsor was like, "What is this? This is horrible."
That is hilarious because normally people would just sit there and be like, whatever. The fact that he actually was like, oh, God, this is audio vomit.
It was so great, man. So one of the last things I want to talk about is that the white trash bitches, the gypsies, Dakota and Nicole, I found another bag full of interesting stuff with all the different medications that they've stolen from other people.
Oh my God, they're just running around stealing robbing and raping Grandpa's medicine cabinet.
But yeah, I found a half a gallon the seal has not been broken on it of promethazine, which is that purple drink,
So
that lean.
How long until you're down at the Sunoco buying Sprite, double cupping it?
See, I know, but like if I'm just being honest, like back in the days when I used to party and stuff, yeah, I would have already cracked that shit open. Like,
you would have been. This podcast would have been, "Hey, welcome to this Tuddle podcast." You would have had fucking fat tongue, been out of it, had to retake the podcast again because you're all double cupped out.
Yeah, I would have listened to it and be like, "No, I can't play that. I can't play that." But anyways, Charlie, I got to get off of this thing because it looks like other people are trying to log on to
not
a
again.
event. Yeah, I know. So anyways, Charlie, tell people once again how they can check you out.
Yeah, just go to at Real Lame Charlie on Twitter, and make sure you also check out at Tuddle on Twitter too.
All right, Charlie, have a good one, man.
Thank you, Tuddle.
Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Want to support the show? Go to paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio.
Well, it's been a good run, boys. It's been a really good run. I know a lot of people really think that we probably should not have ever been in Afghanistan. I mean, it is the longest war that we've ever fought. But man, oh man, this is just a publicity nightmare when it comes to the United States. Now you got China saying, "Oh, well, they're going to abandon Taiwan just like they did Afghanistan." I was watching a video on World Star Hip Hop of the Taliban. I don't even understand why we would do this, and I can't confirm if the video is real or fake, but the Taliban ends up going to one of the abandoned places that the United States government left, and guess what they found? A shit ton of sniper rifles, a shit ton of machine guns, a shit ton of every type of weapon you could think of. And I see, that's why I have a hard time believing that this video is real or not. But, I mean, it looks pretty legitimate. And then all the women, man, I'm hearing that the Taliban's going from door to door to door just with a kill list, just getting rid of people. And I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, we wasted $2 trillion. Well, come on. I mean, you can't blame this on any president because we had Bush. Bush started it, then Obama, then Trump, now Biden. So those are four presidents that you could blame every single thing on because originally this was a war on terror, and we got Osama, and we should have, but all we did was train a bunch of Afghanis now to be able to fight us, and I'm sure China's going to jump right in there. It's just a big fucking, just like I said, publicity mess. And now with all the stuff that's going on with social media and everything, a lot of the horrors are going to be coming out there. You're going to be seeing a lot of videos out there online of some of the just horrible things that are going to be done to people. And it's just, it's going to be a nightmare. Everybody is going to turn against us. And this is why everybody already hates us, because we abandoned Afghanistan. We abandoned them. We all the women that made all these strides, that tried to go to school and do that. And I know, like, it's not our job, but Jesus Christ, once you get involved, you got to stay involved until everything. Because basically the Taliban just ran right through that fucking offensive line that we had already built, like it was goddamn Bo Jackson running for about an 80-yard touchdown. They said he was, like, impossible to tackle. So what I'm trying to say is we really screwed the pooch on this one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Hopefully I didn't get too serious with the whole Fez thing. I just wanted to, kind of utilize him. I know that's not even a real word, but you know what? Fuck it. I need to go to break. I got to handle this poop problem. Not me having to poop, but the poop coming up out of the ground like a bubbling crude while Jed was out trying to hunt for some food. Yeah. But yeah, so I got to take care of that problem. I'm going to get back on schedule. Had a pretty crappy day yesterday, but I'll talk about that on another show. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Hope you guys stay safe, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, and PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show producer Vulture and co-host Sirach. Show voiceover service is brought to you by jcvoiceover.com and The Little Cheese Show. Download and subscribe to The Little Cheese Show everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. You have something you want to say? Tuddle@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all Tuddle social media, go to Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with 2Ds.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
I get ignorant in normal situations.
What? What you mean?
What the fuck you mean?
What are you talking about?
Nigga, what the fuck is you talking about?
Oh, shit!